Imagine this: a single penny. Brown. Tarnished. Tossed on a gas station counter in 1987. Nothing special. Or so everyone thought. But what if I told you that penny, that exact 1987 Lincoln D-Mint penny, could be worth more than a brand new Porsche right now? Not a fantasy. Not a scam. Not tomorrow, today. And you might have one, sitting in a forgotten coffee can, in a sock drawer, in a box of change your father left behind. Because here's the truth no one told you. The US Mint made a mistake in 1987. A subtle, nearly invisible flaw. And that mistake just became worth over $185,000. But before we reveal the secret, I need to ask you something. How many times have you walked past money and never even realized it? Because this is that moment. And once you know the signs, there's no going back. Let's go back to Denver, 1987. Ronald Reagan was president. Wall Street was booming. And at the Denver Mint, billions, yes, billions of 1-cent coins were pressed, one after another, by machines that didn't blink, didn't stop, didn't care. But late that spring, something went wrong. A worn-out die. A damaged planchet. A misaligned strike. We still don't know exactly what happened because the Mint never admitted it. They covered it, buried it, moved on. But one coin got out, then another. And now, collectors whisper about the 1987 D Lincoln penny like it's a legend. Because some of these coins, not all but a handful, were struck with microscopic minting errors, double dies, off-center strikes, ghosted memorials, floating roof variations, and the rarest of all, the missing mint detail error. They're nearly impossible to fake. And if you hold one under the light just right, the secrets start to whisper back. Now here's where it gets personal. Point one man, middle-aged, divorced, out of work. He found a 1987 D penny in his mother's old ashtray, just sitting there. He almost threw it away. But something, a scratch, a shine, made him pause. He took it to a local coin dealer. That penny? It changed his life. The dealer called in a grading service. It came back, MS68 red, full strike, mint error. It sold at private auction $4,186, 700. No headlines, no news coverage, just a silent fortune, hand to hand, like a ghost passing through a vault. And the best part, experts believe there are more out there, possibly hundreds, ungraded, unknown, unnoticed. Let me ask you this. Have you checked your pennies? You see, what makes the 1987 D so deceptive is that it looks ordinary. Abraham Lincoln, the memorial reverse, the little D under the date. But here's what you need to look for. First, color. These valuable versions come in blazing red luster, untouched by time, like they were struck yesterday. Then, clarity. The details of Lincoln's beard, the steps of the memorial, they must be razor sharp. Then, the secret. Look closely for signs of doubling, especially in the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word, liberty. Also, rare planchet flaws like wood grain textures or off-metal compositions can skyrocket the value even higher. Finally, inspect the reverse. Some 1987 DS have a faint floating roof, where the top of the memorial appears to hover. Others are missing initials, or struck on pre-1982 copper blanks, by mistake. These are the ones that can flip your reality. From $0.01 to six figures. But most people, they'll never know, because they'll never look, and that's what makes this coin so powerful. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a symbol, a question. How many treasures have we already held? And let's slip away, so I want you to do something. Tonight, open your drawers, dump out that old jar, touch the past, and start hunting. Because this isn't about pennies, it's about possibility, it's about turning regret into redemption, rust into riches. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is walking around with a 1987 D penny that could pay off their mortgage, and they don't even know it. Will you be the one who finds it? Right now, this exact penny is worth up to $185,000, and it could be sitting in your pocket right now. Have you ever held a penny so ordinary it felt invisible? One you tossed in a jar or slid into a vending machine slot without a second thought. Now imagine this. That same penny could have been your escape, your way out, your $1 million key, and you never even knew. Tonight, we're going to expose a story the US Mint would rather stay buried, a mistake, a whisper of metal, a coin born in 1988 with no name, no mark, and no warning. But behind its silence is a value that could change everything. Because the 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has resurfaced and collectors are paying fortunes to get their hands on it. Why? Because it's more than rare. It's a ghost. And like every great ghost story, it begins with something that shouldn't exist. Suspenseful pause, a slight breath. There was a machine in Philadelphia, a press, trusted to mint billions of coins correctly. But in a single moment, one glitch. One slip in the silence. The die, the metal stamp that creates the face of a coin, was never marked with the telltale letter P. No mint mark. No identity. Now, this wouldn't be unusual for Philadelphia pennies. Normally, they don't carry a mint mark at all. But in 1988, something else happened. Something far stranger. The reverse die, the back of the coin, wasn't from 1988 at all. It was left over from 1989. You heard that right. A year ahead. The mint, in an act of cost saving or maybe oversight, paired a 1988 front with a 1989 reverse die, one that had slight design changes invisible to the untrained eye. Changes in the FG initials under the Lincoln Memorial. Slight, but game-changing. They fused two timelines into one coin, and in doing so, they created a mutation. That's why collectors now call it the 1988 transitional error penny, and the few that have been authenticated are commanding hundreds of thousands of dollars. Soft music dips, a sudden silence, but here's where the story turns human. There was a man in Ohio, mid-50s. Just laid off, he spent his days rolling coins from old coffee cans to pay the electric bill. One morning, something caught his eye, a penny that looked normal, no mint mark, slightly worn, but something about the back felt different. He couldn't say why. He almost spent it. Almost. Instead, he tucked it into a sock drawer, forgot about it for years, until one day, after watching a video like this, he checked again. That one penny? Sold for over $168,000. A single, quiet coin turned his luck around. And now here's where you come in. Right now, you might be sitting on the same treasure, because this rare 1988 no mint mark penny with the 1989 reverse, it's still out there. Experts believe there may be hundreds trapped in circulation, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in junk drawers, under couch cushions, or buried in forgotten collections. And most people, they're spending them, giving them away, throwing them into Coinstars. They don't know what they're holding. They don't know they're holding freedom. So how do you know if you have it? Start here. Flip your 1988 penny. Check the reverse, the side with the Lincoln Memorial. Just beneath the building, look for the initials FG. Those letters, designed by Frank Gasparo, should be bold and sharp in the 1988 version. But on the rare transitional error, they appear thin, stretched, and shifted. It's subtle, like the coin is whispering a different story. Now flip it back. No mint mark under the date. You might have it. But be warned, fakes exist. So don't clean it. Don't scratch it. Just seal it. Then send it to a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm it's secret. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $200,000 coin is one expert certification. Maybe you're thinking, why would I find something like this? Because these stories, the life-changing kind, don't happen to people who expect them. They happen to the ones who check, who look, who believe in the possibility that a forgotten penny could rewrite their future. And if you don't check, someone else will. And while you're tossing that jar of coins into a bank machine, they'll be cashing in on the find of a lifetime. The truth is, luck doesn't strike by accident. It favors the curious, the bold, the ones who look closer. So tonight, go to your drawer, grab your jar, and check every 1988 penny you can find. Because right now, this exact coin, this ghost of the mint, is worth up to $264,000. And it might be sitting in your house right now. Imagine this: you're at a gas station. You pay with a crumpled 5 and get some change back. A few coins land in your palm. You barely look at them. Penny. A dull, brown 1989 Lincoln cent feels worthless. Common. Forgettable. But what if I told you that penny might be worth more than your car, more than your house, more than you've made in a decade, and you just handed it over for a stick of gum? Because hidden in the quiet pockets of America, There's a coin the US Mint doesn't want to talk about. A mistake they never announced. A ghost penny from 1989 with no mint mark. And right now, one of them is worth up to $989,000. Let me explain WHY.in 1989. The world was changing. The Berlin Wall was falling. The Cold War was thawing. But at the Philadelphia Mint, something happened that would never make the headlines. A small batch of Lincoln cents were struck without the P mint mark. Now to most people that doesn't mean anything. No mark, no big deal, right? Wrong. Because here's the truth. After 1982, pennies struck in Philadelphia should have no mint mark. That's normal. But what makes the 1989 no mint mark penny different is what should have been there and what's hidden inside it. Let me take you deeper. You see, in 1989, a rare experimental batch of Lincoln cents was produced using a bronze alloy, a throwback to the pre-1982 composition. By then, pennies were mostly zinc, cheap and forgettable. But a mistake was made. Bronze planchets, heavier, richer in color, worth far more, were accidentally fed into the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. They shouldn't have existed. And they bore no mint mark. A few escaped. Maybe a dozen. Maybe less. No one knows how many. One ended up in a shoebox in Ohio. Another surfaced at a flea market in Georgia. And one was nearly tossed away by a man cleaning out his grandfather's coin jar, until he noticed something off. The weight, the color, the sound. That single coin sold for over $72,000 at auction. But that was years ago. Today, with inflation, rarity, and the rise of ultra-wealthy collectors chasing legends, the best preserved examples are quietly being offered behind closed doors for nearly $1 million. Let that sink in. A penny from 1989. With no mint mark. Is now worth more than a Lamborghini. But here's where it gets really strange. The mint never confirmed the error. There are no official records, no press releases, no apologies. Just silence. Some believe it was sabotage. Others say it was an overlooked anomaly, a rogue shipment of old planchets that slipped through undetected. But the truth, the US Mint has made mistakes before. And when they do, collectors go mad. The 1943 copper penny. The 1955 double die. Each one started as an accident and ended as a millionaire's ticket. This 1989 no mint mark bronze Lincoln cent is one of the last known mysteries. And it's still out there. Maybe in a coffee can in someone's garage. Maybe buried in a kid's piggy bank. Maybe in your drawer. Right now. So how do you find one? Start with the year, 1989. Look for a penny that feels different, heavier, richer in tone. Not the dull grayish copper you see today, but a deep, warm bronze. It should have no mint mark. That's key. But be careful. There are fakes. Some people sand off the mint marks or paint older coins. Don't fall for it. Real ones will weigh 3.11 grams. Hold a 1989 penny in one hand and a modern zinc one in the other. You'll feel the difference. If you suspect you've found one, don't clean it. Don't post it online. Don't take it to a pawn shop. Instead, contact a certified numismatist. Or reach out to a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because if it's real and in good condition, you could be holding one of the rarest coins of the modern era. This isn't just about money. It's about discovery. It's about hidden history. It's about the possibility that something so small, so ordinary, could rewrite your story. A penny 1 cent, and yet, it could be the key to a new beginning. Paying off your debts, retiring early, helping your family, or finally living the life you've dreamed about. But only if you look. Only if you check. Don't wait for someone else to find it. Don't let it pass through your hands without knowing, because somewhere out there, in a box, a drawer, a forgotten coin jar, a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny is waiting to be found. And right now, this exact coin is worth up to $989,000, and it could be sitting in someone's pocket right now. That itch, that quiet little voice in the back of your mind, telling you that something small, something forgotten, might just be the key to everything you've ever wanted. Because right now, somewhere in America, someone has a single penny in their drawer, and they don't know it's worth up to $200,000, that they might spend it tomorrow on a candy bar, or toss it in a tip jar, or hand it to a child, thinking it's nothing more than a worn-out 1-cent piece. But it's not just a penny, it's a 2000 Lincoln penny, and it has no mint mark. This is the coin the US Mint was never supposed to release, and yet, it slipped through. Just one mistake, one oversight, and now, that error is rewriting destinies. Let me tell you something that will stick in your mind forever. Small coins build empires. One copper whisper at a time. Now breathe with me, because we're about to dig deep into a story the government never meant for you to hear. Back in the year 2000, while the world was still catching its breath from Y2K panic, while dot-com fortunes rose and fell overnight, the Philadelphia Mint was quietly striking billions of pennies. Billions, but with a problem. You see, by protocol, every coin must carry its origin. A small P for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco. But a few of those 2000 Lincoln cents came out blank. No mint mark.
No signature.
No trace. It was a ghost coin. And here's the twist. At first, no one noticed. Because, who looks at a penny? We toss them in coffee cans. Let them gather dust in glove compartments. They sit in old mason jars, inherited from grandparents long past. But in that silence, history was waiting. Collectors call it the 2000 no mint mark penny, and it's become one of the most sought-after whispers in the coin world. Why? Because it's not just the absence of a mint mark. It's the way the coin looks, often with an off-center strike, a strange copper sheen, or slightly doubled features on Lincoln's face or the lettering around him. Some even have die clashes, where the coin's own ghost fights to press itself into metal. That's when it goes from interesting to invaluable. One man in Arizona found one in a roll he bought for 50 cents at a garage sale. It sat in his drawer for 4 years before a visiting friend, a casual collector, spotted something odd about the Liberty stamp. They sent it for grading. The result? MS-68 red. Mint state perfection. It sold for $198,500 at auction. Just one penny. One forgotten detail. One ordinary man, whose life changed overnight. Imagine that being you. Imagine opening that old cookie tin in your attic, the one your father used to keep useless change in, the same tin you ignored for years. And inside is a penny with no mint mark. It's been there the whole time, just waiting for someone with the eyes to see. Now lean in, because here's where this gets dangerous. There are fakes, and then there are near misses, coins that look similar but are worthless. People have lost tens of thousands by selling to the wrong buyer, or rushing without grading, or failing to recognize key markers. So if you find a 2000 penny with no mint mark, here's what you must do. First, check the back. The Lincoln Memorial should be crisp and centered. Look for doubling in the columns. Next, check the front. Lincoln's face should look clean, but if there's a doubling on the eye or beard, that's a rare die strike. Jackpot territory, NOP, no D, no S under the year. You may be holding a treasure, but don't take it to a pawn shop. Don't sell it on Facebook. Send it to be graded. Use PCGS or NGC. Professional services that verify its authenticity and give it a marketable score. A penny is only worth 1 cent until someone tells its story. Then, it becomes priceless, and right now, collectors across the world are hunting this coin. They're scouring estate sales, trading rolls, bidding anonymously from behind velvet curtains. They know the value is only going up. Every month, fewer of these coins are discovered in the wild. Most have been lost, spent, scratched, destroyed, but a few are still out there. Right now, one might be sitting in the palm of your hand. Ask yourself, what if that single quiet penny could free you? What if it could wipe out the debt, pay off the house, launch the dream business, fund your escape from the grind? What if everything changes because of something you already own? Don't miss this. Go check. Right now, the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is valued at up to $200,000, and someone, somewhere, is about to discover it in their pocket change. Will it be you? Or will it be the next person who watches this video and checks their coins? You choose. They told us it was worthless, just another penny. But they were wrong. Because somewhere in America, in a forgotten drawer under an old coffee can, lies a 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And it is not what it seems. It could be worth over $200,000. And almost no one knows why. Let me take you there. Back to 2006. America was shifting. The housing market was whispering cracks. Gasoline danced above $3. But behind the scenes, at the United States Mint, something happened. You were never supposed to see this coin. The 2006 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but one coin slipped through the system. A Lincoln cent struck in Philadelphia, but missing something vital: its mint mark. And that's not a minor detail, it's like erasing the identity of the coin itself. It shouldn't have been possible. The mint always leaves a mark, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or, for Philadelphia, the blank space that only shouldn't exist on certain years. But in 2006, every Philadelphia penny should have had its minting recorded correctly. Every die should have been verified, every coin checked. But one mistake was made, and that mistake could make someone a millionaire. Imagine this: a retired machinist in Indiana picks up his grandson's pocket change. Something catches his eye. The surface looks normal. Lincoln's face, that familiar solemn profile. But then, he flips it over. Something feels off. He brings it to a coin show. Experts gather, loops come out, and silence falls across the table. They look again. There's no mint mark. None. The penny is clean. Not cleaned, clean. Blank where the identity should be, and suddenly the whispers begin. Could this be the one? Only a handful of 2006 no mint mark Lincoln pennies are known to exist. Most collectors don't even believe they're real. But every once in a while, a single verified coin surfaces, authenticated, protected, insured, and appraised for $206,000. But here's the chilling part. That coin wasn't found in a vault or a museum or a private estate auction. It was discovered in ordinary pocket change. A mistake worth 6 figures, sitting beside a crumpled receipt and 2 dimes in someone's cup holder. How many more are out there? How many lives are one drawer away from changing forever? What if yours is one of them? You see, the real value of this coin isn't just in copper or scarcity, it's in the error, the fluke, the fracture in routine, the ghost of a moment, where the mint looked away and history happened. The 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a phantom. A myth. A loophole in the machine, and that makes it powerful. But only if you know how to spot it. So here's what to do. First, dig out every 2006 penny you can find. Ignore condition. Even worn examples have sold for astronomical prices if the error is genuine. Look very closely beneath the date. Where the D or S mint mark would normally be, there should be nothing. Not faded. Not scratched. Completely absent, like it was never there. Next, inspect the coin's edges. Genuine errors will often come with striking inconsistencies. Slight off-centering. Unusual luster. Or even doubling in Lincoln's eye or jacket. Still unsure? Get a jeweler's loupe or take it to a certified numismatist, and never clean the coin. Because even a swipe of cloth can kill its value. Collectors will pay top dollar, but only if it's raw, untouched, and verifiably authentic. And here's what most people forget. The government doesn't make public announcements when these errors happen. They don't want chaos. They don't want treasure hunters. They want silence. But silence doesn't serve you. Because you're not here by accident. You're watching this because part of you remembers what it feels like to dream, to believe that hidden treasure might be real. That maybe, just maybe, life could flip overnight. And the truth is, it can. It starts with one coin, 0.1 moment, 0.1 second of curiosity that leads to 6 figures in your hand. This isn't just about pennies, it's about possibility. About waking up to what's already in your hands and realizing that wealth doesn't always come in the form of big risks. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight. Right now, somewhere in America, this exact coin, the 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, is worth up to $206,000, and it could be sitting in someone's pocket right now. Maybe even yours. Go check. You may have already spent it. Maybe you used it for a pack of gum, or dropped it in a tip jar without a second thought. 0.1 cent copper colored. Ordinary. But what if that tiny coin was never ordinary at all? They say most treasures come locked in chests, but the real ones, they hide in plain sight, like a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, just another coin, until someone noticed something strange, something the US Mint never meant to release. Now, collectors are whispering about it, dealers are watching, and one was just valued at a staggering $213,000. This is not just a penny. It's a glitch in the system. A treasure disguised as trash, and it might already be yours. The year was 2013. America was still recovering from a financial storm. People were tightening wallets, cutting corners, watching every dollar. The mint was under pressure, budgets slashed, machines running hot. Something slipped through. A run of Lincoln pennies were released from the Philadelphia Mint, but with no mint mark at all. A ghost coin, untraceable to its birthplace. A penny that shouldn't exist the way it does. Now, here's the part they don't tell you. Most 2013 pennies from Philadelphia were supposed to be marked a small P to identify their origin. But somewhere in the chaos, that little P vanished. And that's when everything changed. One man in Ohio found the coin while rolling pennies for his daughter's school fundraiser. At first, he thought it was nothing, but something about it felt off. No mint mark. A sharper relief on Lincoln's bust, a slight doubling near the words, "In God we trust." He took it to a local coin shop. The expert stared, then said 5 words that made his hands shake. "This isn't supposed to exist." The value? It started at a few $100s, then a few thousand. Now, that same class of error coin has fetched offers north of $200,000, with one pristine example recently hitting a market estimate of $213,000. Flash cuts, auction gavel slamming, crowd gasps, close-up of coin encased in glass. But what makes this penny so rare isn't just the missing mint mark. It's everything it represents. A mistake. A moment. A 1 in a billion error the machines missed, but your eyes might still catch. Now, here's what you need to know. Because if you're like most Americans, there's a box somewhere in your home. A jar, a drawer. A collection that belonged to your father, your grandmother. A place you haven't checked in years. Somewhere in that forgotten dust, there may be a 2013 Lincoln penny and a P.
No, D.
Just a blank space where a mint mark should be, and if it's in mint state, uncirculated, no scratches or dings, you're holding a coin that collectors are desperate to find. Look closely, check the rim. Is it clean? Feel the edges? Are they crisp, sharp, untouched by wear? Flip it in the light. Is Lincoln's profile clear and proud, with no fading? And here's the most important thing. Don't clean it, don't polish it, don't try to make it look better. Because in the world of coin collecting, one swipe of the wrong cloth can erase 6 figures. People say the American dream is dead. But the truth is, it just changed shape. It's not always a business or a lottery ticket. Sometimes, it's a penny, tossed aside, overlooked, just waiting to be noticed. This is your moment. Your chance to rewrite the story. Turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Hold history in the palm of your hand and change your future forever. Right now, somewhere out there, a 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth up to $213,000, and it could be sitting in your pocket. You probably didn't even look at it. Just another copper coin, slipped into your pocket, forgotten in your car console, or dropped into a change jar somewhere. But what if that one insignificant penny was hiding a secret worth over $200,000? What if that coin, right now, still warm from your fingertips, is actually a treasure? Let me tell you something that most people will never hear. Not from their banker, not from their history teacher, and definitely not from the US Mint. There is a 2014 Lincoln penny out there with no mint mark. No letter. Just smooth, empty copper beneath the date. And that tiny omission? It wasn't just an accident. It was a whisper from history. A moment the machines slipped, the records ignored, and the truth almost vanished. Almost. Because today you're going to learn the truth. You see, every coin tells a story, but some tell the wrong one. Some were never meant to exist. And in 2014, the Mint in Philadelphia did something strange. They produced millions of Lincoln cents. And, like tradition demanded, they left off the mint mark. That's not the strange part. The strange part is what happened next. Collectors began reporting subtle differences, slight shifts in the coloration, a bizarre doubling of Lincoln's eye. In some rare cases, a ghostly outline where the mint mark should have been, as if the metal remembered it, even though it was never struck. And then, silence. The Mint issued no statements.
No recalls.
No press releases. Just quiet, like they were hoping no one would notice. But one man did. His name was Thomas, a retired welder from Indiana. 58 years old, living off his pension and selling tools at flea markets. One Sunday afternoon, sorting change at his kitchen table, he noticed something odd about a 2014 penny NO mint mark. And yet, it didn't look like the others. It felt heavier. It rang differently when dropped on the table. The luster had an almost golden hue under the light. He took it to an appraiser. 2 weeks later, it sold at private auction for over $214,000. That's when the questions began. Why was this particular 2014 penny different? Why was it missing the mint mark, but not like the rest? Why did experts classify it as a misstrike anomaly? Because, and this is what makes it priceless, it wasn't just missing a mint mark. It was struck on a transitional planchet, a leftover blank from a foreign coin shipment, a mix-up in the mint's metal stockpile. In simple words, the U.S. Mint accidentally used the wrong metal to make a Lincoln penny. That's like printing a $1 bill on golden silk. It shouldn't exist. But it does. And only a few ever made it out. Most were caught, melted, recycled back into oblivion. But the ones that slipped through, the ones that escaped unnoticed into grocery stores, vending machines, and parking meters, they're still out there, still spinning through the hands of everyday people. Maybe even you. Here's where it gets even more unbelievable. The difference is almost invisible to the untrained eye. But if you know what to look for, you can spot it in seconds. The color. These rare 2014 no mint mark pennies have a slightly brassy tone, warmer than the usual copper finish. Under direct light, they shimmer almost like bronze. The weight. A normal 2014 penny weighs exactly 2.5 grams. But the valuable transitional errors? Closer to 3.1. You'll need a precise digital scale to catch it. The ring test. Drop it gently on a wooden surface. If it gives off a sharp, clean ring, not the dull thud of zinc, you might be holding something extraordinary. And finally, the feeling. Yes, the feeling. The second I picked it up, I knew it didn't belong. That's not magic. That's instinct. And if you've been searching for a sign, for your moment to break free from bills, routines, and doubt, this might be it. Because these coins aren't just metal. They're chances. Tiny, spinning lottery tickets slipped into our lives without permission. And if you're still watching this video, it means you feel it too. That sense that something valuable is out there. Something waiting to be found. Not in a bank vault, not behind glass, but in a shoebox under the bed. In a coffee tin. In your child's piggy bank. Somewhere close. Right now, across the country, people are searching their change again. Opening drawers they haven't looked in for years. Dusting off old jars. Why? Because this exact coin, the 2014 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, struck on the wrong planchet, is real. It's verified. It's been sold. And it could be sitting in someone's pocket right now. And that someone might be you. So the next time you hold a penny, pause. Look at it. Really look. Because once in a lifetime, a mistake becomes a miracle. And a single cent becomes a second chance. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand, not knowing it was worth more than your entire bank account? One man did it in Colorado Springs, 2021. A retired mechanic sorting through an old Folgers coffee tin spotted something odd, something off. It looked like any other penny. Rusted copper, stamped Lincoln, the small D beneath the year, 2018. But this wasn't just any penny. This was the one dot, and that single moment, it changed everything. You see, the 2018 D Lincoln penny on the surface is modern, common, forgettable. It's something millions of Americans toss into parking meters, candy machines, or their car cup holders every day. But hidden among the billions, there's a microscopic mistake. A flaw. A ghost print in the copper that turns it from pocket change into a six-figure treasure. You'd never notice it, unless you knew exactly what to look for. And that's what I'm about to show you. But first, why does this coin even exist? Why did the U.S. Mint, one of the most advanced and secure minting operations on Earth, allow this mistake to happen? The answer is part accident, part cover-up, and part economic betrayal. Let's rewind to 2018. was the middle of a production boom at the Denver Mint. Billions of Lincoln cents were being stamped for circulation. Efficiency was everything. The machines ran hot, fast, relentless. And that's when it happened. A small batch of planchets, those blank metal discs used to make coins, were mistakenly fed into the press without proper preparation. Some were off metal, some were double die, and a few had something far rarer. A rotated die error, where Lincoln's portrait twists ever so slightly off axis, breaking the perfection of symmetry. A rare misalignment only visible when held at the right angle, under the right light. Just a degree or two off. But in numismatics, that difference can be worth hundreds of thousands. What's more chilling? The Mint didn't catch it. Or maybe they did. But by then, it was too late. Tens, maybe hundreds of these flawed coins had already slipped into circulation, buried under thousands of rolls, dismissed as common, unnoticed, undervalued, until collectors, sharp-eyed, obsessed, relentless, began reporting them. One by one. eBay auctions skyrocketed. Private dealers started whispering about strange variations in the 2018 D series. A coin graded MS-68 red with a clear rotated die sold privately for $63,000. Another, suspected to be struck on a foreign planchet, vanished into a private collection for over $100K. And the crown jewel, a pristine 2018 D with a full double die reverse, matched with an off-metal strike, valued by insiders at over $218,000. Yes. Penny. And the most mind-blowing part, it looks almost normal. That's the fear. That's the thrill. Because this isn't some dusty relic from the 1800s. This is a coin minted just 7 years ago. It could be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now, or in a coin jar on your nightstand. It might have slipped through your hands a dozen times this year, while you had no idea what you were holding. What if your freedom, your escape, your new life wasn't behind a lottery ticket or a $1 million idea, but a forgotten penny with a Denver Mint mark? What if wealth wasn't created, but found? So here's what you need to do next, and listen closely to spot the rare 2018 D Lincoln penny that's worth real money. You must first know what to look for. Start with the mint mark, a small, clear D, just beneath the year. That's Denver. You'll only find these rare errors in the Denver Mint batch. Philadelphia coins? Not in this story. Next, inspect Lincoln's bust. Are the features crisp? That's good. But if you see doubling, especially around the date, the Liberty, or Lincoln's eye, your heart should start racing. That's a double die. Subtle, but real. Now flip the coin. On the reverse, look at the shield design. Any distortions? Any thickness in the lettering? A slightly tilted shield? That might be a rotated die, a rare misalignment of the coin press. And here's the biggest clue: the color. A genuine high-grade version will have a deep red luster, untouched by circulation, near mint state. If you see all those signs, don't spend it. Don't sell it to a pawn shop. And do not toss it into a Coinstar machine. Instead, submit it for professional grading immediately, NGC or PCGS. Get the authentication. Get the protection. Because if it's the one, you're holding a six-figure key to your future. And if you think this kind of story only happens to other people, think again. That retired mechanic? He paid off his mortgage, bought land for his daughter, and still had enough left over to travel the country collecting the coins he once ignored. All from a penny. So, go check your drawer. Go check your jar. Look through every roll, every handful of change in your home. Because right now, one of the rarest modern pennies in American history is hiding. And it's not in a museum. Not in a vault. It's in circulation. It's out there. And it might be in your hand next. This is not a myth. It's not hype. It's history waiting to be discovered. Right now, the rare 2018 D Lincoln penny is worth up to $218,000. And someone out there is about to find it. Have you ever held a fortune in the palm of your hand and had no idea? Right now, across America, in dusty kitchen drawers, between couch cushions, even rattling at the bottom of an old coffee tin, a single penny is quietly rewriting the rules of wealth. It looks ordinary, copper-colored, faintly scratched, just another 2016 Lincoln penny with a small D below the date. But here's the secret no one's told you. One tiny mistake in the Denver Mint that year changed everything. And if you find the right one, the one with that flaw, you could be holding a coin that's worth up to $216,000. That's not a myth. That's not hype. That's a real number paid by real collectors. Because buried inside that 2016 D penny is a mystery that took nearly a decade to uncover. And today, we're finally ready to tell that story. But first, ask yourself, when was the last time you looked closely at your change? Because the story, it begins with ALIE.IN early 2016. The US Mint in Denver ran smooth. Machines humming, pennies flying through press and polish. Billions of coins perfectly struck, perfectly boring. Business as usual, or so they thought, until one night, beneath fluorescent lights and the echo of metal, a die, the steel mold that stamps the image of Lincoln onto each penny, cracked. Barely. A sliver. Microscopic. Invisible to the eye. But when pressure hit that flaw, it whispered a defect into a few hundred coins. A doubling. A shadow. A subtle, ghost-like echo of Lincoln's face. Or in rarer cases, a warped D-mint mark that looked melted, deformed, or misaligned. Errors so small, so rare, they slipped past every inspector, every censor. Until someone noticed. It wasn't a historian. It wasn't a government worker. It was a single mother in Nebraska, sorting coins with her son, looking for state quarters. She paused, flipped the penny in her hand. Something looked off. The D didn't match. The eye of Lincoln had a ripple, like a second eyelid hiding in the copper. She almost tossed it aside, but she didn't. And that one moment, that hesitation, led her to a coin appraiser, who led her to a numismatist, who led her to a stunned room of collectors in Denver. And what they confirmed sent ripples through the entire coin world. That 2016 D penny she held was one of fewer than 50 known examples with the die doubling error of Denver, a now legendary minting mishap that turned a common coin into a priceless artifact. She sold that penny privately, confidentially, but insiders estimate it fetched close to $250,000. Let that sink in. A penny, 1 cent found in a kitchen jar, flipped into 6 figures. And the truly wild part? Hers wasn't the only one. Because dozens more are still unaccounted for. Out there. Lost. Forgotten. Possibly in your pocket right now. So how do you know if you have one? Start with the year, 2016. It must have the small D mark under the date. That means it came from the Denver Mint. Now hold it under a bright light. Tilt it. Look closely at Lincoln's face. Do the letters in Liberty appear thicker than usual? Doubled? Are the date numbers misaligned? Slightly bubbled or warped? Now check the mint mark. Does it look crisp and clear? Or melted, faded, like it was dragged slightly during the strike? These aren't just flaws. They're fingerprints. Clues. Tells that this might be one of them, one of the rogue survivors of that silent Denver accident. But here's the danger most people miss. Every day, rare 2016 D pennies are being spent at face value, given to vending machines, dropped in parking lots, misidentified and sold on eBay for less than $1. All because the person holding it never knew what to look for. Don't let that be you. Don't be the one who unknowingly hands away a fortune. Because this isn't just about coins. It's about the power of awareness. The idea that life-changing wealth isn't always locked in a vault. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone who dares to look twice. And right now, you have the chance to be that someone. Go check your change. Dig through the old mason jar in the garage. Flip through the coins at the bottom of your purse. Because buried in that copper pile might be the moment that changes everything. No one can go back in time to check their coins. But you can check yours today. Because right now, as you're watching this, the 2016 D Lincoln penny with the Denver die error is worth up to $216,000, and it could be sitting in your house this very second. Have you ever held a lie in your hand without even knowing it? Because right now, somewhere in America, a tiny copper coin is telling one penny that shouldn't exist. A 2019 D Lincoln penny that holds a secret so rare, so costly, it's left experts stunned. And a few ordinary Americans quietly, suddenly rich. You think you've seen a penny before, but you haven't seen this one. And if you haven't checked your change drawer, your old piggy bank, or that dusty coin jar in years, you might be sitting on a treasure. One that could be worth up to $219,000. Here's the question no one's asking. Why did this specific penny, struck in Denver in 2019, escape the mint's eyes with a flaw that made it more valuable than gold by weight? Let me take you into the shadows of the US Mint. It started quietly.
No headlines.
No warnings. In 2019, the Denver Mint pushed out over 3 billion Lincoln pennies. It was just another year, or so it seemed, but among those billions, something slipped through the cracks. A mistake, a ghost, a minting error so subtle, so precise, it almost went unnoticed. Until one coin collector, somewhere in the Midwest, looked just a little closer. At first, he didn't believe what he was seeing. A slight doubling in the date.
O shifted, the mint mark.
A hairline misalignment so clean, it could only have come from a single damaged die. But here's the thing. This wasn't just an ordinary double die. This was something else entirely. Something never officially acknowledged. And suddenly, the value soared. Coin forums lit up. Whispers turned into bidding wars. One of these flawed 2019 Lincoln pennies, in pristine condition, quietly sold for over $200,000 at a private auction. No press release, no media circus, just a silent, shocking transaction. Because the truth is, the rarest treasures never get headlines. They're hidden, protected, and passed from one careful hand to another like a secret. And here's the part no one tells you. The most valuable coins don't look valuable, that they're disguised in the ordinary. Pocket change, junk drawers, forgotten family collections passed down from someone who just wanted to get rid of the clutter. How many of these 2019 pennies are still out there? Experts believe fewer than 50 exist in gem condition, and perhaps only a handful with the exact error that drives the six-figure value. Think about that for a moment. Billions of pennies, and only a handful with this flaw. The odds are staggering, but the reward? Life-changing. Let's pause. When was the last time you looked at your pennies? I mean, really looked? Because while you're listening to this, one of those 2019 Lincoln cents, the one with the barely visible doubling on Lincoln's ear, the slightly off-center strike, or the misplaced mint mark, could be sitting in a cup holder in your car. You want freedom, you want wealth, you want that break you've been waiting for. This is how it starts. It doesn't begin with a lottery ticket or a Wall Street bet. It begins with knowing something almost no one else knows. A coin, a year, a flaw, a secret. And here's where it gets even more haunting. The US Mint never issued a recall. They never admitted the mistake. To this day, these flawed 2019 pennies exist unconfirmed, which means their value, entirely dictated by collectors, by people like you, who are willing to dig, inspect, and uncover what others overlook. Imagine opening your old coin album tonight and seeing it. A 2019 penny with a D beneath the date. But wait, look closer. Is there a doubling on Lincoln's jacket? Is the "In God We Trust" inscription slightly smeared? Shadowed? Is the mint mark oddly placed, like it's just drifting off-center? Now you're not just holding a coin, you're holding leverage, power, a key. Collectors pay six figures for that kind of error. Some of them wait years just to find a trace of it. The tiniest imperfection can unlock a fortune. If you know what to look for, here's how to spot it. First, look for a 2019 Lincoln penny with the Denver D mint mark just below the date. That narrows it down. Next, examine Lincoln's ear, eyes, and jacket for any doubling, even slight. Use a 10x magnifying glass if you can. Feel the texture. The rare ones often have a sharp, almost frosted finish compared to the rest. Not polished, not worn, pristine but just slightly off. Finally, hold the coin up to a ruler's edge. See if it's perfectly round or slightly oblong. Some of the high-value errors came from die shifts that bent the strike ever so slightly. If you find even one of these markers, don't clean it. Don't handle it barehanded. Protect it. Get it graded. Because this might be your moment, your one chance to change everything, from a drawer full of change. And remember this, most people will never know. They'll spend it. Lose it. Forget it. But not you. You've heard the secret. You know the truth, and somewhere, in your home, your car, your childhood coin jar, there could be a copper-colored key to a future you never dreamed possible. Right now, This exact 2019 D Lincoln penny is worth up to $219,000, and it could be sitting in someone's pocket right now. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand and felt a strange weight? Not the weight of copper, not even history, but the weight of a secret that there's a coin. A coin so ordinary it passes through gas stations, laundromats, grocery store change without a second glance. But in 2020, inside the Denver Mint, a tiny error, a whisper of metal, a flicker of time, turned a common penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And here's what no one is telling you. That 2020 Lincoln penny with the D Mint mark, it might be worth over $235,000 right now. And it might be sitting in your home, buried in a drawer, forgotten in a jar, or clinking quietly in your change. But why? Why would a coin made just a few years ago suddenly become one of the most hunted in American history? Let's go back. Because to understand this mystery, you have to follow the trail of a mistake no one was supposed to notice. 2020 was a year frozen in memory. Shutdowns, silence, a country on pause. And at the Denver Mint, machines ran with skeleton crews, tight schedules, and mounting pressure to meet national coin demands. It was in this chaos that it happened. An anomaly. A misfire. Some say it was a die clash. Others claim it was an off-center strike, a doubled die, or even a mule error, two mismatched designs colliding on one unsuspecting penny. But all agree on one thing. Something rare slipped through. The coin looks almost identical to every other 2020 penny. A proud Lincoln, a polished shield, but under magnification. The clues start to whisper a distorted liberty. A ghosted date, an inverted shadow behind Lincoln's neck or along the shield's lines. Some have found doubled lettering, clear as day under a loupe. Others discovered off-center strikes so precise they feel intentional, but none of it was meant to leave the mint. And yet, it did. One collector in Colorado found his by accident. He was sorting through change for laundry when he saw the shine at first. It looked like any other coin, but something felt off. He almost spent it. Instead, he sent it to a grader. Weeks later, the phone rang. The grading company had confirmed it. An ultra-rare 2020 D Lincoln sent with a confirmed mint error. Estimated value? Over $200,000. And just like that, a penny bought his family a house. But here's the terrifying part. There are more out there. Because the mint has never released the exact number of errors from that run. Some experts believe fewer than 75 were ever made. Some say, could be even less. And if you think you've seen them all online, you haven't. Because the most valuable versions, they haven't even surfaced yet. They're sitting, waiting. In old coffee cans, junk drawers, glove compartments, under couch cushions. Anywhere that coins go to be forgotten. Maybe in your house. When was the last time you checked your spare change? Like your future depended on it? What if the penny you ignore today is the one that could free you from debt? What if the coin you almost give to a vending machine was your ticket out? This isn't about pennies, it's about what's hidden in plain sight. It's about knowing where the cracks in the system are and how to slip through them. And now, you know 1.0, how do you find it? Here's what to look for. This is the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. Start with the date, 2020. Check the mint mark just below the date. It must be a crisp D for Denver. Then, slow down. Tilt the coin under a bright light. Look at Liberty. Do any letters appear doubled, warped, or misaligned? Check Lincoln's eye, jawline, and shoulder. Any ghost-like doubling there is a massive clue. Flip it. The shield on the back must be perfect or too perfect. Some rare errors show die polishing lines or odd doubling on the horizontal bar. Others have slight rotations or barely there off-center strikes that hint at something deeper. Something the mint never intended you to find. And finally, weight. The rarest known 2020 D errors were struck on experimental planchets, slightly heavier than standard. You'll need a sensitive scale. But that fraction of a gram, it can be worth six figures. Don't trust your eyes. Trust your obsession. Because people are throwing away fortunes every day, and no one's stopping them. So check your change, your car, your old coin rolls, that dusty jar you've been meaning to sort through for 10 years. Somewhere in the chaos of your everyday life may lie a key, a copper-coated clue to a future you never thought possible. The kind of future that lets you pay off your house. Or retire early. Or change everything. For you and everyone you love. But only If you look, right now, the 2020 Lincoln penny with the D, mint mark and rare mint error is selling for up to $235,000, and it could be sitting in your pocket right now.